Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, it is Monday night. We are on What the Show. That's not Mike Deacon next to me. That's Coy Jandreau. And that's because we're going to be talking prestige film tonight. No Mortal Kombat, no Hollywood's James Remar, at least maybe not yet. But we're talking prestige film. We're talking Oscars. We're going to have some fun. Let's talk about it. Okay, maybe a little Mortal Kombat, but we're gonna mainly stick to the Oscars. Coy, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. I'm excited for this talk with you. The Oscars are a thing I really enjoy. I'm an award show fiend. I'm no Perry Nemiroff, but I definitely love award season, and I feel like that's not something I get to dabble in a lot because I am usually in the superhero fair, and for some reason they don't coincide often.
Not enough. Maybe a little bit more in the past couple years, but
we're chipping away at it. And I had a very interesting thing happen this week where I went to the Flogging Molly concert in my local neighborhood. And I had a very friendly but aggressive and firm fan in line for the bar tell me the only reason I didn't like one of our Best Picture nominees, which I'm sure will come up later, was because it was taking a spot for Spider-Man. And boy, oh boy, was that not the thing I expected to happen in public. Ooh, so we'll see how this goes.
I mean... Yeah, we'll get into this. I think we're going to get into this. So, basic format for the evening, guys. We have picked full Oscar cards using the Rotten Tomatoes Oscar card. You can find that actually posted on my Twitter. Did that a little bit before the show. I'm going to do that again right now. I'm going to make sure not to post my completed one because that'd be a little...
Spoilers.
Yeah. So, here we go. And I'm just going to do a quick What the Show Oscar 3, 2, 1 countdown. And here we go. But yeah, with that, we're going to work through each category pretty quickly for the most part because there's a lot of categories in there where we're going to cap this probably. Try to be an hour. This is not going to be the John Dies at the End review.
Though fun.
Though fun. Went a little over time.
I think we approached the runtime of John Dies at the End.
Pretty much.
It's a feature-length commentary. Play it side by side.
So, that actually sounds like a brilliant idea.
And with that movie, it wouldn't matter if it syncs up or not. That's the beauty of it.
No, because nothing syncs up in the movie itself. So we're not going to go into that or don't look up really a lot tonight. But we're going to talk the Oscars.
Two movies that don't sync up very well.
Yeah. So basically, basic format of the show, we're not going to talk through every single nominee. We're going to probably go with a lot of the technical categories, a lot of the shorts, since I haven't caught the shorts yet. And Coy, you mentioned off air that you hadn't either. I picked them by name.
Shamelessly as well. So it's going to be fun to see our gamble ones, our true gambles.
Right. I will be watching them because I do watch them every year. I mean, it's not a lot of time out of your day, but it is what it is there. But yeah, if we have anything that we think was a snub in any category, we'll sound off before we actually do our picks. And if we have any huge, kind of huge upset picks, I do have my bookie in the background right now with their betting odds for the Oscars. I'm going to be doing a cursory glance there. So if you guys want to put any action on there, the other thing is that we're going to be doing some giveaways with this. If you fill out your Oscar card, the Oscar card that I just posted and tagged What the Show, fill out your card. You're going to be entered in to win the grand prize if you get the top score with a disc plate of any Oscar-winning or nominated film of your choice ever, and a Blu-ray of any film nominated this year. I'll be sending these to you personally. By the way, streamlabs.com/whattheshow/tip. That's going to be something where we donate all of our donations to a cause every single month on this channel. That beautiful intro music that you heard at the beginning of the show, that was done by Justin the Juice Oliver. We are supporting somebody in Juice's family who suffered a house fire this past month, and is putting their life back together. So any donations to there, we're over halfway at 300 for the month. So whatever you guys can do to help support, that's awesome. So should we dive into it? I'm
going to preface this with, this is what we think will win, not what we're voting, but we will discuss what we would pick if they're contrary. Just for those playing along at home, there are some things that I think will win that I wouldn't have said, just so we're clear.
Yeah. There's going to be, I think, a lot of both of us saying, but West Side Story should.
Dude, that movie rocked me.
Yes. All right. With that, let's get started. So, best animated short. So, animated short, what did you pick?
We both accepted that it's by name, and I was like, I like myself a double title. I went Robin Robin.
You went Robin Robin? I went Box Ballet, all one word.
Ooh. So you went with the singular double word. I went with I like redundancy.
Yeah, okay. So we're off to a start there with things that we have not seen yet. Let's get the things we haven't seen going. Because, I mean, really, what is this stream? These three picks could end up losing us our Oscars bets right here.
Out of just atrophy.
Yes. So live action, I chose The Dress.
Once again, I am the one right beneath you. I went The Long Goodbye.
The Long Goodbye. See, it's a short, so I don't think it can be that long.
Oh, see, I went intentionally the title that was the longest for the short, ironically.
Oh, okay. Going with like the early, like mid 2000s emo song title kind of vibe.
Yeah, because it definitely gave me a vibe. Unlike a lot of the other titles, it didn't get a vibe. And if you got a short, you want to tell the vibe quickly, title helps, Long Goodbye.
Okay.
There was thought even without having seen it, just there was no seeing it.
As we're going to reach the point where we actually kind of know what we're talking
about. It's coming soon, folks. We're only 7 minutes in.
At some point. Documentary short. What'd you have for documentary short?
I personally went with 3 songs for Banazir because that's the closest. I've seen some of it. That's the only one I'd seen like enough of to. What'd you go with?
Well, okay. So you can give a quick summary on that one since.
I had only seen clips, and it is basically about somewhere in the Middle East, and I'm so sorry that I did not know where, because that is one that I was trying to catch up with, and it gave me an emotional impact of a people that I have very little exposure to, and that's what connected me to it, other than others, is connecting to. I feel like we have a very specific view of a lot of countries and of a lot of folk, and I really like when a film can quickly envelop me, and it did.
Nice. I went a different direction, and I went for something that might be, I don't know if it's more familiar. I went with the Queen of Basketball.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not do any research on the shorts. Sadly, that's I realized before I was finalizing my card, I didn't watch the shorts, and that's where we are.
Okay, but now from here on out, we are invested, for the record.
Yes.
Only 8 minutes of shenanigans.
I've seen at least 3 or 4 of these movies, maybe more.
Yeah, I'm a completionist with almost all the rest, so we're good there.
Yes. Okay, so let's dive into visual effects. Do we have any snubs for visual effects?
Snubs, I do feel like there were definitely things that I felt like more strongly about than these, but as soon as I thought that, I was like, wait, nothing's immediately coming to mind, so clearly. It was an interesting year because we're getting to the point where the best visual effects are the ones you don't notice, which is why my pick was in here, and that's Dune.
Nice. I went with Dune as well. It gives me the same vibe that I got from the first time I took a 5-year-old kid to see Star Wars in a movie theater and you tell them that they made that entire thing on Earth. Like,
it immersed you in a place visually, and it also, a lot of the effects were so seamless that I couldn't tell where practical stopped and visual ended, and that's what I want. So as much as I love my superhero stuff, I went Dune.
Yeah. For something that's tighter budgeted that didn't make it, I'd say maybe Green Knight, but I like everything on the list. All right. So Dune, by the way, odds on favorite to win, so I'm not gonna pull up the odds thing just yet.
So it's without both of us. It's the first time we've agreed and the bookie agrees.
Yeah, maybe it's because we saw it.
With the logic, AJ.
Oh yeah. Real quick, I think we did just get our first. Yep, we just got our first donation of the night from the wonderful Jake Iacovetta. Jake Iacovetta saying, Rachel Zegler didn't get invited to the show either. You racist bastards. Well, yeah.
She said she was busy. I tried. Efforts were made.
Yeah, wait. You tried? I would have.
It's Oscar week. We would have dressed up.
I would have worn a sports jacket for Rachel Zegler.
And yet, also Jake's comments earlier about how Brad's looking at me is why he's still right here. He's staying pensive.
That's amazing. I've actually not been looking at the chat, but 2023 winner Moonfall, yes, Mike. With
clearly,
for visual effects, it might have a chance. No,
what could be topped with the moon falling? What could top it?
Have you seen Moonfall?
I've not. If I was too busy to watch shorts, which I am very invested in respecting, I have not made time for Moonfall. No disrespect, Roland Emmerich.
It is the magnum opus of Roland Emmerich film. It is so brilliant. But we're
prestige film, AJ.
Prestige, yes, mega structures. So production design. I have Dune for production design as well. I think that Dune takes production design. It's also favored. What about you?
I had Dune until yesterday when I saw a movie that put me back in the 60s, that immersed me to a level that I heretofore did not know possible. I went West Side Story.
Now, West Side Story, that's where my heart is. My mind is with Dune because Dune is minus 350.
Okay.
Odds for Dune, or odds for West Side Story, plus 1,400. So, 14 to 1 odds. If you go and bet West Side Story. Yeah. If you want to go bet this, it's on mybookie.com. We don't have a sponsorship for MyBookie, but you know who does? Christian Harloff.
Use his code.
Harloff has a sponsorship for mybookie.com. Use promo code BIGTHING at checkout. They will tell them we did it.
Yeah, give us at least street cred. We got that street cred.
Let them.
Dude, West Side Story is 14 to 1 odds. Holy.
Yeah. Nightmare Alley is the next. It's like West Side Story's third. Nightmare Alley is 2. I think West Side Story did the best job. I'm right with you. And I think that maybe since Oscar voting hadn't finalized when the Rachel Zegler story came out, I think that maybe West Side Story gets some pushes that we didn't anticipate.
I also feel like West Side Story, I love Dune, obviously. It's actually my number 3 or 4 of the year, depending on how I look at it. And I honestly feel like it was immersive, but as far as, I feel like I was put onto another planet, which I cannot say enough of how impressive that is. But I paused West Side Story, came back into the room, and I could have sworn this was a film from 60 years ago. It's not quite apples and oranges, but it's damn close as far as what's more impressive. But it's insane how immersed I was in both films. So either one winning, I'm happy, to be honest.
It's so good. Okay, so we're going
what's more impressive, another planet or recreation? It's hard to say because both are fully immersive. Is it harder to make something feel authentic to our own memories or to make something feel so alien? That's the question of ethics and philosophy here.
And
ethics, morality.
To take 60s sci-fi and make it look real. It's hard. It's really hard. I do think that more was practically done with West Side Story, which is why I like it more.
Sure.
But I think that that's one that the Academy is going to go with the odds on favorite with Dune there.
Sure.
That's why West Side Story's got my heart. But I think Dune's got my mind on that one.
Okay.
So so we're gonna go from anything else on production design. We're going to sound.
I feel good about it. Yeah, sounds good.
Sound. So sound is another one where I'm going with the with a reported odds-on favorite with Dune, because I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of shoehorned. It's won all the guilds for it. Sound design as well as sound editing was really awesome. I don't like it the most. My favorite one is actually Belfast of the nominees.
So I went with my favorite. My favorite is Dune because I feel like, unlike most blockbusters, I think that Dune will be forever remembered for sound design, sound editing, all those things in a very specific way. It definitely like punched you in the throat. Like it brought you into that world. And, I always felt like Arrakis is really aggressive. So I thought the aggressive sound design really helped it. Whereas some blockbusters, you can have a fine score or a fine sound edit and you like you'll notice, but it won't remove you. This felt it compelled you forward. So Dune is my heart and my mind here.
I will say the sound editing that goes into the score's integration with the film, opposed to just the score, which I think it's taking score spoilers for me, but I think that the integration with that and the editing that goes into there is phenomenal.
I could hear everyone, and when the action happened, I wasn't deafened, and when the sound happened, it felt like I was deafened on purpose when I should be. So all of that, I can't like. As much as I love the rest of the nominees, that's really special to find that balance. Yeah. Plus, the actual structure of the sound was literally alien. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's Dune's
it's a masterpiece.
Masterpiece, yeah. It really is. It's an early masterpiece for Denis Villeneuve, who we'll get to Denis Villeneuve,
who's doing just fine.
So, song. This one's an interesting one for me because like I remember 3 of these songs and I've only heard 4 of them. So what did you have for song?
I went with my heart and my mind being the same one, and this is one of those times I gambled because I don't know if I'm right because this is the one that made me feel the most. Couldn't betray that, and that is Down to Joy. I went with Belfast on this one because it really stuck. It really landed. It was integral to the film. It was also a good song by itself. I also loved Belfast. This is one that you and I talked about at length, and then I was like, wait, the more I think about it, the more it sticks. Yeah, Belfast for this one for me.
So that's my heart. That's my heart. And if you go to mybookie.com, promo code Big Thing, and do it. Let the English see you do it. But if you do that,
it's a very topical joke for the trouble.
Really, let's try to do a Harloff joke, and there we go. But if you go on there and throw $5 on it, you win $110 for Down to Joy, which I didn't know that Van Morrison song was eligible. I thought that he recorded that prior.
Oh,
but I was surprised to see it nominated, and I was surprised that like they didn't do one for Tick Tick Boom, but you couldn't. It kind of feels like in the scope of things for Tick Tick Boom, you can do an original song for it.
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom was definitely like an interesting omission, as was not having the most popular song to come out of Disney in the last 10 years.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
That's why it's not nominated. They were busy not talking about it.
I am a 31-year-old Billie Eilish stan, so I did go with No Time to Die, which is the favorite. No Time to Die is the current favorite, so I did roll with that. And honestly, I didn't love No Time to Die like a lot, but it's great. Best Bond song since probably Skyfall. So,
which one? My memory is shoddy here. Which one was the White Stripes Bond song?
Shoot, wait, what? I think it was Jack White solo, wasn't it?
And sorry, Jack White. Was that after Skyfall?
Yeah, I think that was the
Quantum.
I think it was Quantum. No, Quantum. Yeah, it was Quantum.
It was Quantum, wasn't it? Because that one's my jam. I think that's my favorite Bond song. Like
Chris Cornell for favorite ever, but
oh yeah, okay, I can see that.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm very good at ranting. I digress.
Yeah. We have the 2 worst people to keep this under a time budget.
Keep this on rails
in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so quick thing. I've been on the MyBookie site checking odds. Let's see. So it was Quantum Solace, and then Mike again with I'll be there for the opening night of Moonfall on Broadway. God help us, I would be too. But we're gonna keep on rocking and rolling through them. And when I say the smaller awards, these are all amazing awards, by the way. I'm never going to be close to any of them. And this next one, you'll know that because I have done an online makeup tutorial with Ben Bateman, and that is makeup and hairstyling.
Wait, did we skip score?
Oh, wait, did we skip score?
I think we skipped score because we were talking about Down to Joy and Billie Eilish.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. Score. We need to score.
We can't talk about the big thing and then skip Christian's favorite category. What are we doing?
And damn it, I had such a good segue too.
Okay, go. Pretend we didn't miss it.
So, Score, it's your turn to go first. What do you got?
I personally had to go with the one whose sound affected me the most, which is interesting because it's not the musical. I, again, am going with the one that is my mind and my heart. Dune's score slaps. That is a score I listen to when I run. That's a score I listen to when I need to feel emboldened. That's a score that I would listen to like recreationally because I have. I'm going Dune.
Like, Dune is the first time I saw that picture of the guy playing a piano at the beach, and then like the piano's on fire. And just talking about
that's the Dune score.
Yeah, that is the score to Dune. It is absolutely, I think, also just one of the best blockbuster scores from when it came out till today. The Batman aside, it's favorite blockbuster score, I think, probably in the past 5 years.
I'm hoping the Batman gets some noms next year because that is a hell of a score as well. But yeah, the Dune one was a part of the reason I saw it. So I saw it regular. I saw it regular again. Then I saw it in IMAX, partly for the score.
Yeah, I caught it when it dropped at midnight on HBO Max. COVID spikes, couldn't go out, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
caught it when it dropped. Finished watching it. So midnight your time. Started watching it 2 a.m. my time.
Whew.
Worked the next day.
Oh.
Yeah, and then like watched it 2 more times, went back to the theater because I needed to feel immersed by Dune.
So the first time I saw it was press, so I felt safe. I missed the first Dune run in IMAX because of those spikes, but I saw it when they re-released it, and I was so happy I caught it.
It's such an awesome film to be a big movie. It feels like an Oscar movie in that way. So
I agree. I'm hoping.
I'm hoping too because I have Dune as the overall winner for number of trophies at the end of the night. I don't have it for Best Picture, but I have it for total trophies.
Okay, I like that. I could see that too.
So, okay, so we're going to, like I said, makeup and hairstyling. It's my turn to go first, isn't it?
Yep. Sorry, this is one of those.
As much as I wanted to say, the Oscar-winning film coming to America, because that just sounds like a fun phrase to say.
Yeah.
I gotta go with what I thought was in March and what nothing else beat it till then. It's Cruella.
So I almost went with Cruella. Cruella's my second pick, and I had actually checked that, unchecked it, and then went with my main pick. I went with the movie I wanted to get the most trophies. I went with Dune I think this might be a category where Oscar voters won't have voted for Dune in some of the other categories and then want it to get that like accolade. So weirdly, this wasn't even about the structure of this category. It was them going like, Dune. And I don't know if that's actually the mentality of anyone, but I feel like coming to America, people are not going to give it the credit it deserves to. I feel like Cruella is going to come up in just a second for something else. But then I thought the Eyes of Tammy Faye's makeup was rough. And I personally, I love things. Like I don't usually speak ill of things, but I know that Tammy Faye herself was covered in makeup, but even other things like the way the aging looked versus reality, the way that like they worked on Garfield, there were things that was a negative, and then even more so Gucci. So like I personally it was tricky.
Danny was just saying the only thing that Gucci has a chance. I know, like the makeup. Like the people who do these in their guild, I can't remember the name for the makeup and hairstyling guild for the motion pictures, but they do vote on this.
Yeah, I don't see Gucci going on the Oscar board this year.
that was a thing. I know you just had a conversation with Jared Leto, so I'm just keeping it all close.
Yep, here we are. Just Jared's. I'm seeing him next week.
Yeah, just but we did pick an upset for the first. Both of us picked upsets for the first time. Eyes of Tammy Faye is the odds-on favorite.
That is fascinating. There was a point in that movie I made a screenshot of how the makeup choice on Andrew Garfield looked more like a fake aged up version of Peter Parker than it actually looked like the person. Like it looks but hey, I'm not a makeup artist. No judgment. Mm-hmm. Talented thespians. I disagree.
Yeah. Then just one. Okay, I have to do one quick aside on House of Gucci. One quick aside. He was not featured in the film, but are you familiar with the current head of Gucci? His name is Alessandro Michel.
I have seen him in TikToks with his Lamborghinis, yes.
Okay, how did Jared Leto not play him?
It's right there. I think that's the issue, is he looks like Jared Leto.
They hang out.
Because they look like they hang out. There's a nest.
There's a total mess about that.
It's because Leto wanted to be the guy he got to be here. He didn't want to play himself, hence the Leto.
He wanted the Penguin, but, got
the Joker instead.
Ever the Joker. So costume design, this one's you're up first.
This is a very clear victor for me. This is a movie that I rarely talk about being excited to see win for something that feels so theirs. This is a movie that not only was great in its category, but made the entire film substantially better. Cruella's costume design is so fun, so invigorating, so a part of the culture of the film, and it brings back a cool culture. Cruella by like a comfy margin for me.
Yeah, that's same here. I would have put for a snub for a nomination, I would have put Shang-Chi there. But
I like that.
For odds on favorite to win, never change. It's Cruella. Phenomenal costumes, just fantastic, gorgeous to look at. All right, so we got next. Let's
big
see
old
here.
Cinematography.
No, we got film editing.
Oh, I did what you did. I scrolled too far.
We have film editing next. Once again, this is one that's not going to be aired live, but it is what it is. Now
they just play movies uncut, right? Editing's not important.
Yeah, some film editor is editing film editing out of the Oscars. It doesn't feel uncomfortable for anybody involved.
It's dark.
I promise you. But they did get a good paycheck for it. So nominees here. This is one that it's going to sound like a repeat from me. I didn't just shoehorn this in, but I want to look at what's nominated before I say what wins. Nominees were Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, Power of the Dog, and Tick, Tick, Boom. Now, to me, there's two movies in here that are phenomenally well edited. The rest are kind of not a prestige category. I don't have anything off the top of my head that would be maybe Green Knight, maybe Pig. But
Pig was my snub for this category because the editing in Pig was a part of the emotional journey you went on personally.
Yeah. But it's between Dune and Tick Tick Boom, and I don't think they're going to give Tick Tick Boom the love.
I agree. Those are the two my heart and mind agreed with, since Pig got snubbed, and you and I could do a whole hour on Pig snubs. But I do feel like Pig snubs, not Pig snouts, Pig snubs.
Yes. Okay.
I do feel like Tick Tick's musicality should. So maybe my heart is a little more Tick Tick, but I do feel like the immersion and the volume of story they were able to tell without it feeling sluggish gives me Dune by just a little bit. So I went Dune.
Yeah, and don't ask Mike Deacon about Dune, by the way. He's in the chat as well. My usual weekly co-host, Mike. I'm sorry that we are talking about Dune as much as we are. We know your hearts and feelings there. And with that, we're going to cinematography. So I know you have thoughts for cinematography.
I have strong thoughts for cinematography, and this is the category that might be the hardest because even the movies that I did not enjoy in this category as much as others, I did ascertain their cinematography skill and beauty. So this was probably the trickiest category because there are other categories where my dislike of a film does affect that category. Not this one. All these films are stunning. But again, Dune. It is a sweep. It is a stunning operatic blend of close-ups for emotion and vistas of scope for planetary investment. It is something that's action is actually choreographed that you can edit in and around. There is a dance to this film, and it is stunning. Dune.
It's that thing where the cinematography and the pacing of the film kind of feels like the sand dance that's rhythmic, but has a pace to it. And that's kind of how the scope of the film feels, and the cinematography and how it's shot, the scope of it and how it can be so big and so small, and you don't necessarily know what it's going to be from scene to scene, really fits like back into the basic tenets of the film. It's just beautifully done. It's amazing.
I totally agree. As important as the editing and musicality is to Tick, Tick, Boom, the cinematography is to Dune.
Yeah. It's so good. So good, my man. But
still love fest for Dune here. I'm loving that we both picked as many Dunes as we did.
Well, and that's the thing is, once again, we're going odds on favorite. Let's see here. Odds on cinematography. So odds on cinematography, we have Dune is -400, and cinematography. So if I were to pick anything else, it might have been Tragedy of Macbeth, which is
very stunning.
Yeah, beautiful. Plus 1400. But snubs there as well. Green Knight, I'm going to mention Green Knight as well. Beautiful.
If it was choreography, West Side Story.
Yes. And cinematography, I love the cinematography of West Side Story because of so many beautiful shots. Like Party J, if West Side Story wins for cinematography, I'm right there cheering with you.
Oh, I'm not mad if it wins.
Oh yeah, it is beautifully shot film. But yeah, this is we're going head over hearts for what we got in the cards. But if you have an Oscar card, once again, tag What the Show on Twitter. Just post that Oscar card. Just repost that Oscar card that you completed out. You're going to be entered in to win a disc plates, Blu-rays. We're giving away a bunch of awesome stuff. We're going to do a little summary of that at the end. But we're going to keep on rolling through here to... Okay, international feature. So...
Just you and me first.
Let's see here. You went first for cinematography. I'll go.
All right.
So Drive My Car is beautiful. It's the odds-on favorite by basically statistically about 90% to win.
Wow.
Right? I think I love Flea. Flea to me is one of my favorite movies of the year. Drive My Car is still excellent. And either one of them that walks out, I'm happy with that. They're the only two that I've seen that are nominated. I haven't seen The Worst Person in the World yet. That's planned for later this week. But I'm going to say Drive My Car, but wish it was Flea.
So I'm going with, I think it's going to get not in the real deep running past Best Picture. And since it's a Best Picture nom, I feel like a lot of people will go, well, it's not going there. Let's go here. And I do feel like that's going to be a jump a lot of people will make. So I do think it's going to be Drive My Car. It is admittedly one of two films I need to see this week. But I having sight unseen, hearing from people I know and trust love it, I'm going to Drive My Car.
It's weird because it's weird when a slow burn 3-hour drama versus like a comic book movie. It's like, I don't want to give you spoilers.
I've heard literally only exceptional.
Yeah, it's really good. Flea is one of my favorite movies of the year. It keeps on climbing up the list. Drive My Car deserves an award. Everybody deserves a trophy. That's also the thing with Academy Awards. These beautiful accomplishments in film. Let's celebrate everybody.
They will forever be Academy Award nominated Flea and Academy Award nominated. Like, that's so special is.
Yeah. And it's also splitting itself between international, documentary, feature, and animated. Nominated in 3 separate categories that I don't think that's ever happened for those 3 categories before.
Yeah, that's balling.
Yeah, crazy shit. So going from there to documentary feature.
So I got one here I actually feel very strongly about. This is a movie that gave me a lot of feels, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of positivity in a music festival. as opposed to a lot of music festival documentaries I've seen, which have inherently leaned negative. Summer of Soul is a very special film that immerses you in a world and a time and an experience, and I loved it.
Sorry, I never thought to compare music festival documentaries before, but Summer of Soul is also my pick.
Right?
I can't. Were you talking about the Woodstock documentary?
I was.
Firefest one, or the Firefest one now?
Both of them. That's the thing. The average music fest documentary is a tragedy. I was like watching this, like, wait, I've never experienced happiness during one of this genre of doc.
How does this make me feel? Okay,
right?
Yeah, it's
they only make them when you're supposed to get punched in the face, and instead, I felt warm in the heart.
Yeah, it was Summer of Soul is really good. It is one of those ones. Once again, odds-on favorite to win. So I mean, that's one where, I mean, you've heard me gush about Flea and how I think that's an important story to be told. This is an important story that was an archive that dug out that can be told as well. So I mean, they're both wonderful. I think that
also filming a narrative or shaping a narrative out of footage from that long ago was so cool.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like Get Back for an entirely different culture in an entirely different way.
And again, I was happy to enjoy music.
Yeah, it was so good. I feel that's something that I'm gonna find myself more and more putting on the background, just so I'm doing things at home to have on in the background now that I've experienced it.
And that feeling, I think, is when I get clean votes.
Yep. People like to feel good right now. Like I think that's why we have half the Oscar noms that we have this year.
And then people like also realize where we are, which is the other half.
Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, I'm right there with you with Summer of Soul. Let's see here, and oh yeah, just a real quick shout out to Danny M mentioning. It's 3 hours. We were comparing this to the Batman beforehand and how it's like, yeah, we've both seen that 3 times, but it's hard to cover out 3 hours. It's a different kind of 3 hours. Yeah.
Also, 2 of my times were for work with the Batman. I've only seen it recreationally once, whereas Drive My Car feels like a different kind of like pensive investment.
Yeah. That's it's 3 hours of meditation versus like 3 hours at a theme park.
Yeah, well, not actually. That one is less at the theme park, but
yeah, well, like 3 hours at Halloween Horror Nights. Let's
3 hours at a Nirvana concert.
Yeah. All right.
It's way more flannel than one of these.
Jesus. Okay, so going into animated feature, how familiar were you with the animated nominees this year?
I actually had seen all of these, but Flea.
Nice.
And usually that's a struggle for me. You and I have talked about it. You've actually helped me get more into animation, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's something that I didn't get into animation until probably about 3-4 years ago at all. So it was kind of harder for me to dive into. But
you and John Getz are like, I credit almost single-handedly with my Switch. Spider-Verse. So you, John Getz, Lord and Miller. That's the bundle.
Nice. Where is John right now? Feels like John should have a link.
For shame, John.
Honorary nominee John Getz for animation. John, if you're listening, we love you. Yeah, so animated feature, I went Encanto. My heart is with Flea again. And Flea's probably like third back on odds, but Encanto's, yeah.
I did not go with the one that little kids are singing the theme songs of. I did not go with the one that is winning all these box office. I went with the one that, this is probably going to lose me this, but I loved it too much to check another box. I went with one of my favorite animated films of all time, Mitchell's versus the Machines. It spoke to me on such a level that I couldn't physically bring myself to check another box. It is so my spirit, my soul, my identity. My little sister is that girl. Like I couldn't. I feel like I know these people, and I need to check that box.
It does. It's so hard between Encanto and Mitchell's versus the Machines for me because they're very familial and very much so in different ways.
Well, what's interesting for me is I have a very strong foundational family without a lot of generational trauma. So I actually struggled to identify with Encanto, and I felt like a monster because I saw it with people over Zoom and everyone started crying and I was just like, oh no. Like I felt like I didn't get a joke, but like the sad side of a joke. And no. Like then the Mitchells is like bunch of weirdos. And I was like, that's my family. So I can't, I didn't get Encanto. It was like in Latin.
Okay. Well, it was Spanish, but
no, I mean like nobody speaks Latin. So it sounded like I was like reading Latin.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, I'm kind of torn there because I have both experiences of like parts of my family, like extended family specifically, being harder, and then Mitchell's vs. Machine, like our core family, being, I mean, goofballs. It's so I love them both, but Encanto is the -1000 to win. Yeah, Mitchell's vs. Machines second in rankings, +350. So
that makes me happy.
Yeah, and you know, it's anything on this list. It's another one of the ones where, I mean, Flea's my favorite movie on here, but if Raya and the Last Dragon wins, I am not sad.
Also enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was a great time.
You know what? There's only one film in this entire list, any category, any shape and form, that has the rise of Furbies.
This is true. I think that would be, and somebody pull the stats if I'm wrong on this one. If the Mitchells and the Machines wins, will be the first time in which a film with a Furby appearance wins an Oscar.
Check the tape. Someone do the stats.
Like Jonathan, run the stats on that. But I did get a donation from Danny M. Vengeance. Although I've not watched this year's animated, I'm very confident to say Summon of the Gods was snubbed and should be at all these films. I can't wait for the Batman to sweep the Oscars in 2023. And Coy, great to see you on What the Show again. Thanks, Danny.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, Summon of the Gods. I did not see Summon of the Gods. I'm not familiar. Are you?
I have not. I the fact that I've seen 4 out of 5 years, so progress has been made.
Okay, so I'm just looking this up. I'm sorry, I got distracted here. Okay, so this is based on a manga. I just got the link for the manga, but I'll look into it, Danny. I'll definitely give that a shout out when I check it out. But we're going to keep on rolling to adapted screenplay.
It's getting serious now.
Yes. So I have Coda, and I think this is I think that Coda has a total of 4 nominations. I think that this is one of the 3 I have for it to win. I
have Coda because I do feel like this is a difficult adaptation because of the multiple languages. I mean, I can't imagine adapting with the emotional intensity that they were able to capture. I haven't read the book, so I can't speak to the book, but what they were able to convey with that story and with the emotional impact that came from the language of the story, I got to give that screenplay some love. So Coda is my comfy favorite.
Yeah, and it's so crazy for, I think last year you were kind of with me with like, it was original screenplay that I had for Sound of Metal that I wanted to win.
Yeah, I was super invested in that.
It's another thing where deaf culture film, entirely different movie, and did it really interesting and unique. I can't find odds on it right now, but yeah, I'm right there with you with Coda. So going from there to original screenplay, has one of my biggest heartbreaks for voting with my head over my heart.
You know what's funny is you definitely were more capable of separating the two. I realized saying all my picks out loud, I was incapable. I was the one that prefaced this with, hey guys, we voted with our heads, not our hearts. And then every time I say a thing, I'm like, I just voted with my heart. I went with the movie I want to win. I don't know if it will win. It's a movie that AJ actually convinced me to see. It is about the trouble. I went Belfast. It is a special, special fucking story that really needs some love. It is such an important original story. It's about the trouble, which doesn't get talked about enough. It is adapted from itself, but it is translated beautifully. I love the color when it's used. I love the story it tells about home and what that means. I love Belfast is so magical.
Belfast is magical. It's a beautiful film, and I think it's what should win. However, I'm going with the film that just won the Writers Guild Award. Are you familiar with what
I am, but I can't acknowledge it.
Is if I have to put money on it, if I have to put $10 on it tonight, I'm betting on Licorice Pizza. And
now, was
hoping I don't get $10
in parentheses, does cartoonishly racist accent on the script, or was that implied? Like, how does that work? Was it written in racist font?
I've not actually read the screenplay, which I think that probably I should have done it for scientific research. I might do it someday. But yeah, between that, the glaring...
Oh, I mean, not to speak of the plot problems. Yes.
Yeah, the plot of it all. This is it's sadly, it seems like that's where people are going. I wanted to love this movie so badly. I wanted to love it so badly, but the very thing that I think had the most issues, the screenplay, I think is the one award that's going to win.
Yeah, my issue is that it is a perfectly fine-looking film, and I am a huge fan of the director, and I've never felt as big a disparity between a film and its director as far as my feelings and inclinations, but I've also never almost walked out of a Best Picture nominee, ever in life. So this is one that I, maybe of any of them, couldn't bring myself to even acknowledge my head versus heart. So it landed on Belfast comfortably out of rage spite.
It's like, okay, imagine not being like politically involved. So like you registered as a Republican as a kid, but you totally weren't like a Republican anymore. But then like the primaries are happening in your red state, and you have the opportunity to mark Ted Cruz on a ballot instead of Donald Trump in the Republican primary, just to
chip away at something.
Yeah, that's
the situation.
This feels like the opposite of that.
Yeah, man, it's not good. It's not the best. It's not fun. So, not loving it.
Okay.
Not looking forward to it on the day.
No. And if anything else but my odds-on favorite to win, take it. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel the other way. Like, of all the categories, I'm like, if anything wins, I'm happy. This is the one I'm like, anything but the favorite. Like, I feel so... I also feel like insane when I think of that movie because I get so hyphy. Anyway, that's another hour.
Well, and like, even if Don't Look Up wins, that's kind of a victory for the Southland Tales in a way. I'll take it.
That's the most AJ take of the night. A win for Don't Look Up is a win for Southland Tales.
It's just a dumber version of the Southland Tales.
It's like, a much dumber version of the Southland Tales.
But there's some parallels there.
Oh, there definitely are. But like one of them is watchable and one of them is more recent. And you'd think I was going the other way, but no. I like the one.
Yeah. So we're going to go from that discussion to something that's much more agreeable. Ooh. I think the most agreeable thing on the internet right now when it comes to the Oscars, the one thing that nobody's going to like yell at you for saying is, I want and I think that Troy Kotsur is going to win Best Actor.
I completely agree. That is where my heart is. That is where my head is. That is where my hope is. That being said, this is one of the very, very few categories I do feel like had a big ol' omission. I do feel like the dude, Haim, what's his last name? From West Side Story. The
Mike Feist.
Feist! I knew he had a cool AI name. Yes, Mike Feist is the only big acting supporting omission for me this year because that kid was incredible.
So I have him, and then I have two that their supporting roles were too small.
What do you got?
But I think that for supporting actors, the two of the best performances of the year were Adam Arkin in Pig. When he broke in that movie, if he didn't break when he tasted that dinner, that moment is the crux of the film.
Sure.
And he made the film. And then Barry Keoghan, The Eternals.
No way.
Not a meaty enough role to me to get nominated, but the work was excellent.
I have one that I just remembered that I've been yelling about that will kind of get me all the like he just like superhero stuff. But Willem Dafoe deserved a nod. If this wasn't in that category, like if it wasn't in the genre of superhero film, the work he did, if he was playing a villain in a corporate film, would have gotten a nod. He's so good in that movie. He's so manipulative. He's so duplicitous. He's so intense.
Oh yeah. Well, and like Willem Dafoe deserved the win for The Lighthouse. He deserved a nom for this. I think he's gonna end up. I'm gonna be saying this again for The Northman next year. They like he just puts out. He has at least one film every year or so that he has something that's just brilliant.
He's also one of the sweetest human beings. I was so alarmed at his kindness. Interviewing him was so it was so hard for me because I like 2001. I was but a lad. And to talk to that dude who is to me the Green Goblin, like few actors, you see the actor, but I see the Goblin when I talk to Willem Dafoe, and he's just like the happiest uncle you'll ever meet. He's just lovely.
And you know, if you just seems wonderful. But if you ever want to have a good time, look into the rumors about him and the filming of Antichrist.
I'm just happy for him. I do.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
I'm just happy for him.
So happy for his confusingly large film catalog.
Yes, it is a very long and girthy one.
Yes, robust. So,
there's a reason he's got that smile on his face.
I would have that smile too. I think I'd curl up just like that. All right, so we're going.
That strut is more of a limp, if you know what we're talking about. Tripod Dafoe.
I think that we're confusing. Anybody in the chat know what's going on right now? Okay, so actress in the supporting role, overwhelming favorite again. That's what I got to go with Ariana DeBose.
Comfortably Ariana DeBose for myself. I've been impressed with her since Hamilton being a bullet. Like she made a bullet have emotional impact. You know, it's an important bullet, but goddamn, she made that bullet sing.
As if it had butterfly wings.
As if. But yeah, she stole scenes in every time she was on screen, and that's not easy with a cast this strong. I definitely think Kirsten Dunst was the thing I liked most about Power of the Dog, so it was hard for me not to go there. I also think Judi Dench's performance was really nuanced and incredible, but out of all of these, the one I couldn't vote away from is Ariana DeBose.
Yeah. Like Ingenue Ellis, like wonderful. This is probably one of the strongest categories. I will say that my top pick for this was snubbed.
Oh, what you got?
Ruth Negga in Passing.
That's an incredible performance.
Yeah. It is just heart-wrenching, beautiful. But Ariana DeBose is phenomenal. That's somebody whose name I can't wait to say more. It's fun to say, and it's fun to see her in things. So
I think she's going to be everywhere next year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, he's a tentpole actor. So this is where it becomes much like the regular What the Show programming.
Yes. Oh, very nice work, Danny M.
Oh, Danny Martinez, you are a saint. So we're going from so we have other notes on supporting actress.
No, I feel good about where we landed. I also feel like that's the winner. Like, is that the favorite?
Yeah, by a large margin.
Okay, and is Troy as well?
Troy Kotzer, yeah, both by just huge. Let me double check. I think it's both like plus 2,000 ish.
So like Dafoe huge.
Yeah, just like thick. Okay, Troy Kotzer is minus 600, and then Ariana DeBose is minus 2,500. She is the biggest favorite of any nominee. Minus
2,500.
Yes.
So don't bet on her actually, because
if you bet $2,500, you will win 100.
Yeah,
yeah. So
perhaps go with our other choices, because that's the good for her, man.
Yeah. Okay. And we were just about to go into actor in a leading role when Danny M donates $5. Okay, as close as we get to it, Nick Cage was snubbed for Best Actor in Pig.
Yes.
And Pig was left to have Best Movie for something like Don't Look Up. Shake my head. Question for 2023. Will Nick Cage win Best Actor for playing Nick Cage? God, I really hope so. I really hope that, this is he puts up something that can get nominated for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent and then gets the Training Day Award for the Oscars next year. I hope that's what we see, but we're going into Best Actor in a Leading Role. And yes, Nicolas Cage is the biggest Oscar snub, I think, since long time.
Yeah, it was my big, that's all I really want. And here we are.
Yeah, that was that's my most effective film. That's my favorite film of last year. Probably my favorite film in the past 10 years.
Wow. So it's in my top 5, but I didn't know it affected you that much. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it really got me, but that makes me happy.
Yeah. And when we get to Best Picture snubs, I'll talk more about how that film hit me so hard. But it's a crazy, wonderful performance and something that I was not okay for several days after seeing a Pig movie.
That makes me very happy. It's my number 6 of last year, and it was a hard year. Last year was solid.
Yeah. Quick side note on that, Mike and I were going to do this thing where we saw this Nick Cage does John Wick, but it's a pig, and also Space Jam 2, and then we're going to Space Jam 2, right? And we're going to do a review wrap up because they came out the same weekend and called a pig roast. Didn't work out.
But that's good work. But that's good penmanship.
So going into Best Actor in a Leading Role. So your thoughts?
I was able to separate my head and my heart on this one. My head thinks it's going to be Will Smith. My heart wants Andrew Garfield, and not because of Spider-Man, because of his performance here is so. He's gone. That's not Andrew Garfield on screen. It's a man that learned to sing for this role and then did that. That's a man who exposed his artist soul to you on screen. That's a man that was vulnerable and interesting and captivating. That captured another artist who was vulnerable and interesting and captivating. I think this performance that Andrew Garfield put forth should comfortably be the winner, but I think legacy-wise it's going to Will Smith. I liked Will Smith in the movie, and I think it's a really great movie, but I definitely was aware of times that Will Smith became Will Smith to me again, and that never happened with Garfield. Garfield stayed in that world. Smith fell out, and also some of his affectations were a little large for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you look up, if I had this weird disconnect with Will Smith's performance personally because of I didn't realize Richard Williams' specific accent before I watched the movie, because I felt at times like he kind of sounds like Bobby Boucher's dad.
Right? There's some, but the thing is, after hearing him, it's still an inconsistency, and that was my issue with a Best Actor nod. And I want Will Smith to have gold. I just don't know if it's for this.
Yeah, I think it's maybe some of the best work he's done since maybe Ali when he was nominated previously. But
yeah, in Ali he should have gotten it because I don't remember what won that year, but he's so good in Ali.
He's really good in Ali, and he was I think that here's the thing. There's another one where actually I did look at the odds of this one. This is one of the ones I looked at before I loaded up my laptop and Streamlabs when I got home today. This one I looked at beforehand, and if you are giving me $100 to bet on the Oscars on one topic, one thing, it's Andrew Garfield plus 1,400. 14-1 odds. I am going to.
Are we switching? Are you going with your heart?
I'm going that. That's a smart bet to me, because Will Smith and King Richard have fallen out of the conversation for a lot of film people, it feels like. Critically, as award season's gone on, they've both fallen out of conversation, where Garfield conversation is still strong. So I think that Will Smith is still the favorite. I don't think he's as big of a favorite as he was maybe 3 months ago.
Interesting. I like that perspective. Also want it from my boy, Andrew Garfield. Yeah. Come on. I want to say Academy Award winner Andrew Garfield.
Right? And it feels like between like Under the Silver Lake and like there's a few times we should have said it already.
Yes, he's incredible.
So, all right. So we have, I guess you can call it Going with My Heart on this one, but it's also a smart money bet.
No, I like that. I hadn't thought of that perspective.
We're not gonna tell you guys how to bet on anything. We're just going to tell you that if you're going to use mybookie.com, which has the odds that I'm reporting right now, just use promo code Big Thing at checkout, and just if Christian Harloff asks you why, tell him that you wish you knew. So,
I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
Right. So from there, we're going to actress in a leading role. Now, I think this is one where I can't say besides Rachel Zegler. Like that's the big snub.
What a snub, dude. Jesus. Yeah, that was my biggest snub. One of my biggest snubs of the years. I mean, I only watched it yesterday, but the whole time I was like, wait a second. Why have I not heard this name mentioned? That's one of my huge snubs, but I got to go with my girl, Kristen Stewart here. I really want Spencer because I feel like it was ignored consciously in a lot of other awards like conversation. Yes. And I want that like sneaky underdog upset, but I also think it's a worthy performance. I think she's so good here and so captivating. And I also want to say Academy Award winner Kristen Stewart, because I feel like of these actresses, Nicole Kidman, Penelope Cruz, Olivia Colman, Jessica Chastain, they all got respect on their name. My girl Kristen doesn't have respect on her name. I want this to wipe away and people can see she should have won for Seberg. So this is revenge for Seberg.
She should have gotten like supporting for On the Road.
Yeah, dude, she's been incredible for 20 years.
Yeah. But
this is my respect award.
I wanted to say, and I just pulled it up, she's plus 700.
Okay.
I wanted to say her, and you're going to be surprised with this one because this was the film that I was most apprehensive of watching of any of the Oscar nominees. I'm going Nicole Kidman.
No shit. I love this one.
Yeah. It's like sometimes heartbreak feels good in a place like this. I think
that's how I'm going to feel when Kristen loses. Heartbreak.
Yeah. I think that Kristen Stewart had the best performance I think she had the best lead women's performance of the year. Another one that's probably since Toni Collette in 2018. I can't remember the name of the movie right now. Hereditary for women's performances, lead performances.
She was just so really good. Available and so interesting. Like I just love that I was so claustrophobic with. So I can go on with the performance. It's so special,
deep and vulnerable, and like Nicole Kidman was amazing as Lucille Ball. Definitely defied my expectations. If she wins, I'm fine with it. If Kristen Stewart wins, I'm cheering.
I can agree with that. I'm co-signing it.
Yeah. Odds on favorite to win. Do you know who it is?
I'm gonna assume it's Olivia Colman. Jessica Chastain? No shit.
Yeah, I think she won. She won a bunch of.
She's won a bunch of stuff lately. Yeah.
Like, I think like BAFTA was her. So it's She seems
nice, but it's not. It's Stewart's year.
Yeah, it's a wonderful movie to catch on Stars on a weekend.
And that's not a Best Actress role. Like
to me, yeah.
Not even getting the problematic nature of like what that film like lands on as a moral.
Yeah.
Like we literally won't talk about that. But it's a thing. Well, what do we anyway? Anyway, directing, my biggest snub of the year.
Directing is your biggest snub of the year?
Where's Denny?
Yes, Denny Villeneuve.
The guy who made Dune possible, the guy who invested, the guy who literally I know no movie's capable without a director, but that's a Denny film. Like it feels like him, it breathes him, it is him, and he shepherded it. Like that was literally, they could have called it Denis Villeneuve's Dune, and I'd be like, how is that man not on this list?
It's really kind of bewildering how he's not on there. And honestly, you mentioned you put more behind this film. Now, to me, that also kind of culminates in what he did in producerial work as well.
Yes.
But that goes into his best picture nom. But oh my God, he directed the shit out of that movie.
And that movie could have fallen apart anywhere without him.
We've seen it fall apart in 2 other attempts at adaptations.
And that's the thing about like this style of movie is other directors can direct some of these other movies. Only he could have directed this movie to this level of skill.
This feels like Peter Jackson with Lord of the Rings for him and Dune. You take a product that people have long since said, yes, I want to see this as a movie. It's impossible to adapt.
Yep.
And people tried with Dune. I mean, David Lynch tried with Dune.
And how many other directors fell apart on the journey to this that we didn't even hear about, much less the ones we did. Also, the performances you got out of those actors, the visual aesthetic, the immersiveness, like everything I want out of directing Dune gave me.
Yeah, that was... I want to say it's probably my favorite... Not I think the best has been, but my favorite Chalamet is Paul.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I also think this is what I want Star Wars to feel like, and that's largely because of Denis.
Yeah. This
is my biggest snub of the year, even more than Dafoe, and arguably even more than I really wanted Holland to get some love, because I feel like if Holland was playing like a fucking cop, then he would have gotten like, if he was a cop going through the loss of his aunt and dealing with like the responsibility arc that he went on and he just didn't wear tights, he'd have gotten a nom.
And then there are like 3 other cops, right?
Brother cops. They're like, I was on this beat before. And he's like, I too was on this beat.
So I'm going to pitch you this movie. It's a remake of 4 Brothers, right?
Is that because I said fucking cops instead of fucking cops? Because my full Maki Mak came out?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
It slipped. I got angry. But like, I feel like Holland should have gotten some love. It's not as big of a fucking snub as directing, but like Denis, come on.
Yeah. And yeah, Denis really deserved to be there. I don't think that I have anybody else. I mean, there are people like I want to give Pig all the love for things. That was a good movie from a first-time director. It's not the master that we have of 4 of these 5 people, and also Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
4 of the 5. I'm really sorry, PTA. I love your other movies.
I truly do.
And Ryosuke Hamaguchi is phenomenal. Drive My Car. I think you're gonna like Drive My Car.
I'm excited.
It's really good. But Brana, I'm happy with. I'm happy with anybody. 4 of the 5 winning. I'm going with Jane Campion, but I'm not picking Power of the Dog for Best Picture. It's one of those moments where you are allowed to sit on the council, but we do not grant you the award.
I'm going with the yesterday's upset for my experience, man. I think Steven's got it, man. I think it's going to be a legacy win. I think it's the best thing he's made in a very long time, and people are going to be feeling that. I think it's a movie that is another director would have fallen by the wayside and it would have failed. I think this movie, much like Dune, doesn't exist without Spielberg, and therefore, since Denis, this is kind of the other film that really needs that director's vision. There's not a single wasted frame or a bad performance in this film, so I'm going Spielberg.
Yeah, and if he wins, I'm so happy for it, because I was such a naysayer of this movie before it came out. I was almost a bad internet boy about this.
Oh,
because it was like, it looks good, sure, but for me, Spielberg hasn't made something that I've loved in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
20 years is a long time. I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did. I didn't expect the huge pomp and pageantry. This feels like young Artur Spielberg with a big modern holiday budget. It is beautifully done. That's another one where I love Power of the Dog. I think that Jane Campion did amazing work, but I think it's Campion, and if it's Spielberg, I'm cheering. I'm
into that. All right. What's the favorite? What's our spread here?
Jane Campion is minus 3,500.
Oh, that's bigger than Ariana.
Oh, it is. It is. She is actually the biggest. I did not catch that earlier. Kenneth Branagh is plus 1,200. Steven Spielberg plus 16.
Wow, so, he's third.
Yeah.
I mean, Branagh might be more of a legacy win. He's great, and I love Belfast. It's just I don't think he's won. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy spread there, and that's after everything that's happened. That's after the whole politics.
Interesting commentary.
Yeah. So Best Picture, we are there. We are at the we're at the climax of the evening. Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, West Side Story. Any snubs?
I want to say snubs, but this is a fairly 10 movies is a lot. And honestly, as much as I love Far From Home, it is not, No Way Home. It is not an Oscar Best Picture. I wanted that. I love that campaign, but I wanted it more for the culture than the movie. And it is my favorite MCU film now. It took down Winter Soldier, but
Really?
It did. And that's insane. I saw it 3 times, and on the 3rd time, I was like, this gave me more. I never thought that would happen. Winter Soldier was there since 2015. That's a long time to sit at the top of the kingdom to fall after 7 years. So that said, it was more important to me that Dafoe and Holland get those nods. So I got the Spider-Man not getting it. I accept that. This is actually a decent list for me. But that being said, this is the first year in my investing in the Oscars where there were 3 films that I actively was like, about 30%. Yeah. And that's crazy.
Yeah, there's
that's a statistical impressive meh.
There's only one film I really wouldn't put there, and that's it's also the film about Hollywood in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But
should we do the spread first or our picks first?
Okay, let's do the odds.
Okay, because we're honest people. We won't change our stuff.
So yeah. So Power of the Dog is odds-on favorite to win at -150. Coda +120. Belfast +1100. West Side Story +4000. King Richard, same +4000. Dune +5000. Licorice Pizza +6500.
Well, that last thing made me happy.
Yeah, Drive My Car is +6500. Don't Look Up is as well, and Nightmare Alley is +12,000.
+12,000.
And I like Nightmare Alley. I'm glad that. Good job.
I don't think it's a Best Picture, man. That was one of my mez personally.
Yeah,
no disrespect to GDT or Cooper.
Yeah, I could go on and on about Pig and how it's amazing. And
I thought Last Duel was better than Nightmare Alley. I thought Small Engine Repair was better than Nightmare Alley. I don't know if you saw Small Engine Repair, but
wait, what?
Small Engine Repair. I don't know if that was one you caught last year. That's one of my I don't know if it's a Best Picture, but it was a play adapted with John Bernthal, Shea Wiggum. It's a damn fine film.
I thought you were talking about. I thought you meant that you thought that Nightmare Alley was boring. I'm writing this down now.
Oh,
I thought you meant you'd rather do Small Engine Repair.
You thought I was talking about manual labor? No, there's a movie called Small Engine Repair. I think was slept on. Oh, that's great.
Okay, you got me there. So I'm going not with the odds-on favorite with Power of the Dog, which I think is a beautiful movie. And it is what it is. But I'm going with Coda. I think Coda is going to take this.
Same. Coda made me feel all the feels. I also like the idea of, and this sounds really weird because it's very studio and Hollywoody, but I really like the idea of a streamer getting some love. So hopefully they start releasing more in theaters. It's more about the theatrical culture than it is about a streamer winning, because obviously Apple doesn't need more money. But what does need to happen is these streamers going like, oh, look, it helps to have theaters. So for the film theatrical exhibition culture, I kind of want a streamer to win. Out of that, I enjoyed Coda a lot more than most films this year. When I saw it, I was like, I think this is going to make my top 5 of the year. And I saw it a while ago. So yeah, Coda's very special. The performances are like nothing else. It taught me so much. And I love when a film can give me that while giving me emotion. New and old faces alike were impressive. I love Marley Matlin, something fierce. So that was definitely a perk. Yeah, this movie's really special. That also might be a snub for me, is Matlin and leading actress, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was really good.
She was. And this would be the, I think it's it would be like the second or third time that if it wins and there's a female lead in a movie, that the female lead was not nominated. Especially,
she's the youngest ever winner, so she's already in the Oscar family.
Yeah.
Marley Matlin's the youngest actress to ever win. So I don't know. She was incredible.
But yeah, with Coda though, the other thing is this would be the first Sundance film to win Best Picture.
I love that.
Ever.
That's also insane.
Yeah.
What a stat.
How crazy is that?
What a fun fact.
Credit to Perry Nemiroff. I took your statistic from earlier today. But yeah, it's so that just seems like something cool. It seems like it's the time for the movie. It seems like it's the momentum of film fans.
It's been the conversation. Yep.
Yeah. So when that becomes the conversation so much, I mean, it's awesome. So yeah, I think we settle on both of us with the coda for Best Picture. So here we go, guys. We have our full Oscar cards. Coy's going to be sending his right over to me, and I'm going to be posting them on Twitter. Now, what we're going to do for you, you can find my Twitter at Lancaster _AJ, or just the What the Show podcast Twitter. We're going to have Oscar cards there for you to fill out yourselves. Here's how you win. First of all, if you have the best score for an Oscar card, you're going to be winning both a display and a Blu-ray of an Oscar-nominated film of, let's say, ever. And if you are, we didn't do our random contestants. Who should be our random contestants?
From the chat?
Yeah, you pick somebody to represent you.
Okay, no pressure. Somebody. Let's go with. Let's see who had the funniest comment. I'm either going with. Wait, who had that great joke about Willem Dafoe? Tentpole, Danny M. Danny M's my guy.
Good joke. Danny, you are Team Coy, and let's go. You know what? Let's give some love to Party J in the chat. You are Team AJ. Now we're putting our Oscar cards against each other, and if Coy wins, Danny M, you're going to be receiving a disc plate from me, and if Party J wins, you're going to be receiving a disc plate from me. We're just going to grab your address, send that over to you of your favorite Oscar nominated film of all time. And then one last way to win, the top donator for What the Show for the month will be receiving a Blu-ray of the Best Picture winner. So some cool giveaways that we're doing for What the Show this month, guys. With that, I think we're going to call it an evening right now. Coy, what do we have going up? Where can people find you in the near future?
So I just posted interviewed Jared Leto, Matt Smith, as well as the director and lead actress of Morbius over on my page on my YouTube at Coy Jandreau on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I've also got there's a big fan event coming up on the 30th for Morbius that I may or may not be participating in a very interesting way with. I've also got a bunch of cool stuff coming up with Marvel. We got a bunch of coverage coming up for Moon Knight, which I may or may not have seen some of already. That'll be over on the Real Rejects channel. And that's just the next month. So I got a lot of stuff cooking, and I hope this summer is insane for all of us in all the best ways. I want to try to catch this wave while we got it.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, you can catch me. Mainly here. Other random places across the internet, nothing really booked at the moment, but the next time that you'll see us here on What the Show, we're going to have our full panel back to be talking about going from prestige film to cheaper by the dozen, 2022. Full evening there. We're going to have Matt Thomas on to go into just how many ways this movie managed to, let's say, impress us. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother stream. That's been What the Show for the evening for Coy Jandreau, and for us. We wish you guys the best night. And fill out those Oscar cards. Tag us on What the Show on Twitter. We love you. Night.